Ma'am, do you live here alone?
Since my husband passed, yes.
You've been handling all this yourself?
Didn't want to bother anyone.
You're not a burden.
I thought the world forgot me.
The first thing she said to me wasn't hello. It was, please don't report my yard. I'm trying my best. I had just stepped out of my truck and the grass in front of that small weathered house in Houston, Texas was already past my knees. Thick weeds crawling up around broken tree branches and dry brush, like the yard had been forgotten for years. But the woman standing there looked even more fragile than the house itself. Her name was Eleanor, 92 years old, a retired nurse. Thin and hunched, with a tired face full of deep wrinkles and quiet embarrassment. Her left arm was strapped in a medical sling, and thick orange prescription glasses sat on her nose as if she had been wearing them for decades. Her faded black shirt hung loose from weight she had clearly lost over the years, and her shoes were worn down so badly the soles were nearly peeling away. She kept her eyes low when she spoke, like someone who had spent too long apologizing for simply existing. I asked her what happened to the yard, and she hesitated before answering. The way people do when they are used to keeping pain to themselves. She told me she used to cut the grass herself, every week, even after turning 80, slowly pushing an old mower while holding onto the handle to keep her balance. But a few months ago, she fell while trying to trim around the tree and fractured her shoulder. Since then, the weeds kept growing and growing. She said the city had already left a notice warning about overgrown vegetation and possible fines. And she was afraid if someone complained again, they might send a crew and charge her money she didn't have. Eleanor whispered something that stayed with me all day. She said she didn't ask anyone for help because she didn't want to be a burden to anyone. She told me her husband passed away 10 years ago, and her children had moved out of state long ago. And most neighbors had slowly stopped coming by. The yard behind her looked like nature had started reclaiming the house. Tall grass, fallen branches, and tangled weeds swallowing the walkway like no one had touched it in years. But the way she kept apologizing made it feel like she believed the mess was her fault. I told her I wasn't there to report anything. I was there to cut the grass. At first she thought I was joking and tried to insist she could not pay me. But I shook my head and started unloading the mower anyway. For the next few hours, the sound of the mower echoed through the quiet street. While she sat slowly on the porch steps watching, one hand holding the sling and the other wiping tears she probably didn't want anyone to see. When the last patch of weeds finally fell and the yard looked like a place someone could walk again, she stood there in silence for a long moment before saying something I will never forget. She said, "I thought